welcome back to In the Kitchen with Pen. Now today we're going to do some baking, and today's recipe I am adapting it to go into an air fryer, but it is from John Kirkwood. He's a retired chef and he has some amazing recipes. This one today is for banana and pecan muffins. Saw it last week, beginning of maybe the end of the week before, and we both said, oh, that looks nice. So I specifically went out and bought bananas just for this recipe, but I'll go through the ingredients and I've got it all written down here. Right, in my bowl I have 260 grams of self-raising flour. I have 80 grams of caster sugar. I have a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. I also have in there a pinch of salt and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, what am I going to add to that? I'm going to add 2 beaten eggs along with 3 tablespoons of milk, 150 grams of melted butter that I've melted and it's cool. I've also got 2 bananas that I've mashed. Now they were medium-sized bananas, you know, we're not talking itty ones, we're talking banana size. And I bought them and I let them become quite ripe. Just when you get a couple of little brown spots on the skin, that's when they're ready. And in here I have 55 grams of chopped pecans, and I bought the pecans in Lidl, and I was going to buy, as you go in more or less past the fruit and veg, they've got their nuts. I was going to buy a packet of nuts and a packet of pecans, and they were £3.14, something like that. And in fact I put them in the trolley. Goes round to the baking aisle, they've got smaller ones, 150 grams, and the 2 smaller ones, so it was working out I was getting at least 50 grams more for the same price. So no brainer really, isn't it? Just because they weren't sold as ready to eat. Anyway, and I also need 24 whole pecans. You'll need muffin tray and muffin cases. Now in this instance I'm using a 6-hole muffin tray because I want to put it into my Ninja, okay, and that's the only reason. Use a 12-hole muffin tray and preheat your oven to 190°C. Okay, let's get started. So I need to make, and I'm going to bring you down, I have made a well in my flour, which has all been sifted, by the way, very important, and I'm going to add in my melted butter, my beaten egg, my vanilla is in there actually because I use the vanilla bean paste. If you're, well, it doesn't matter what vanilla you're using, put it in with your eggs because it's a wet ingredient. Technically yes, sugar is a wet ingredient, but for the purposes of this it's not. And we're just going to just mix this all together. We don't want to over mix it, just till it's mixed in, and we use a spatula, not a whisk, definitely not a electric whisk of any sorts. Just use a spatula and just keep turning until everything is mixing in. And then we're going to go in with our bananas, our baby food. Oh, my children love to mash banana. And the more ripe your banana, the sweeter your bakes will be. So we just don't want to see any flour like I've got there when I'm turning. Right, I don't want to see any of that. So I've just got to mix it until I can see it no more. Right, all mixed in. Yep, can't see any flour. And now we're going to add it in our 55 grams of chopped pecans. And again, we're just going to stir through so that hopefully each muffin has a pecan-y bite. Now this is enough to make 12 muffins. I've only got a 6 whole muffin tray, so I'm going to have to bake twice. But if you've got 12 whole muffin tray that will fit, and a 12 whole muffin tray will fit in my Ninja 15 in 1, I just wanted to try it in the Mega Zone. So actually what I might do is I might bake them all at the same time. Right, so now, most unusually, I need to let this rest for 5 minutes before I do anything else, and I need to cover it. And this is a tip I did get from John, if I can find them. And I can't, so is to cover with a shower cap. It works. Well, I'm going to cover with a hairnet because it will still work and it's brand new, it's not been worn. Alexa, a computer, set timer 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
There we go, that's it. I'm just going to leave that to one side and clear up, and in 5 minutes we'll be back. Right, our 5 minutes is up. So computer, stop. Now what we need to do is we need to put our mix into our muffin tins, and I'm using an ice cream scoop, and hopefully it'll mean I get the same amount in each of my muffin cases. So I shall do this, and then you can come back and see what's next. Now we've got our muffin tins, our muffin cases all full, and now we need to put the pecans on the top. And what John said was to actually cross them over, so like one was almost a top of the other but in the other direction, so that they almost sink into the mix. So I'm not arguing with a professional. Just push them down slightly. And what I need to do is I'll need to preheat my ovens. So I am going to be doing it in both ovens. So bake, I don't need it, 190 is what I usually have in the oven, so I'm going to go to 170, and they take 20 minutes in the oven, so I'm going for 18, and the same on here. Let me just show you. Bring this round. We'll go down to bake, which presets to 160 here. I'm going to go up to 170, and we're going to go, right, I'm actually going to go for 19 minutes because this is actually going to preheat for the same length of time as this, and well, slightly less actually, and we press start. Mega Zone, press start. There we go. Right, so I shall carry on with this. And I've said before about this trick that I've done here with the larger of the two baking trays, is I've got rice in the bottom, and that rice will actually stop any greasiness, because you know sometimes you get a little bit of grease on the bottom of your cakes. Put some dried rice in there. You can't ever use it for cooking, but just put some dried rice in there and that will stop that. Right, we need to just wait for these to preheat and then we can get them in. And look, oh dear, can't let that go go to waste, can we? Preheat is done on my 10-in-1, so I need to get them in. And baking is shelf 3. It actually tells me level 3, and that's it. So there we go. We're done on here too then. And in they go. I'm done. I can make a cup of tea because nobody else is going to make one for me, are they? And just let these cook. And once they are cooked, we shall be back. Well, we are almost finished. And as you know, the Ninja Mega Zone needs to cool down before I go. I have, there we go, our 10-in-1 is finished. I have turned down the temperature, and this is on cool, of the Mega Zone because I had a quick peek and the muffins were really browning. So look at those, they look nice, don't they? So now I need to take these out because I don't want them continuing to cook, and we'll put them on to a cooling rack. Oh, just put my blooming fork straight through, my spoon straight through. That wasn't very clever, was it? Ah, right. I'll show you that one in a moment. Just to demonstrate what I said, and we're finished there now, about the greasy bottom. Let's just brush off. There we are. No greasy bottom. Perfect. So let's move this. And now let's get the muffins from the flexi drawer, the Mega Zone. Can you see what I mean about them darkening quicker? This definitely, don't care what anybody says, cooks quickly. So let's get these onto here. Now I've bought mini muffin tins that go into the Ninja Jewel, but this one definitely won't fit in the Jewel, I'm sorry. Just letting you know it doesn't. So let's move this one too. We'll move it on the pot stand. And let's give you a, oops, one fell off. A proper look at these Banana Pecan Muffins. Now, I'm really sad to say that they're going to have to cool for 20 minutes. 20 minutes? What the heck? Anyway, they are. So, computer, set timer, 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
And when that timer goes off, we'll be back out.
You have 19 minutes left on your 20-minute timer.
Yes, thank you. When that timer goes off, we should be back out to taste one or maybe two of these. Right, our 20 minutes is up, so therefore they are cool enough to eat. And we've got a special guest in the kitchen, and he's not feeling 100%, but he's come out to try a bit of cake. So,
Anything for quiet life.
choose one.
Still warm.
Yeah.
Right, to get these off Timu.
Yeah, they're John Kirkwood's banana Pecan Muffins. Now he says they are lovely as a dessert with custard, but they're equally nice just as
Very
a
nice.
muffin. They're very light.
Very nice.
Sweet enough for you?
Just about right, to be honest.
I'm surprised because you like yours sweet, don't you?
I like a bit like my women.
You failed there.
I'm not saying sour, but that's
Salty. Salted it. Right, that's what they look like inside. Got a lovely, lovely texture. So, I will put a link to John's recipe in the description, but the Ninja,
what was what? The oven.
Yeah.
Because it's slightly dark.
yeah, I've said that it cooks quicker. The Ninja Mega Zone, because that's the one I've got, mine's slightly darker on top. I deliberately picked a different one to Steve. Certainly bakes a nicer cake. I know that because I've baked something else that you'll see soon. And we know that the 10-in-1 works. Yes, I know, darling, football's on. So thank you very
Oh.
much. Oh, you
What
want a
they
cup of
need.
tea?
Cup of tea.
Thank you very much for watching this
Oh.
episode
Keep cooking.
of In the Kitchen with Pen, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye bye. If you'd like to see more of what we get up to in the kitchen, click here.
And if you'd like to subscribe, please click here. And obviously don't forget to tick that ding-a-ling.
Stand there.
That ding-a-ling.